For a few seconds, this place was Armageddon. There was a firefight!
Well, it's only been an eternity, but hey, we all love eternity, don't we? So, welcome to the 3rd edition of Behind the Fuzz, and, whew, boy, it's been a long while. Many things have happened with me over the past few months. And unlike Tojo Ruby from Rosario Plus Vampire, I won't be using that line over and over again for future episodes of this thing. It's just a natural selection. And to be perfectly honest, a lot of the stuff that's been going on were kind of the reasons why I hadn't been updating this in a long while, apart from that pain video I put up. Specifically, I broke up with my girlfriend a few months ago, and it kind of took a lot of motivation away from me, from doing this, from doing the reviews that I'd planned on doing. It just took a lot out of me. But I'm more or less emotionally recovered now, and I'm back on track of life here. But I'm not here to brood about that. Although I'm pretty sure some of the asshats out there who had been leaving negative comments on my videos and on my profile have something to smile about now, so this one's for you.
Alright, don't push your luck.
I have been keeping busy, though. I appeared in wha-chow over on Fireball 20XL a little while ago, and I also took part in a new bi-weekly video podcast that's my friend Prismaya is a co-host of, called The Viewing Globe, which is also held by a friend of ours who goes by the name Extreme Cheeseburger, and it was a pretty fun show to be a part of. It's located at morphintime.com, and if you're not there for the web show, then you could be there to watch old Power Rangers episode and whatever random video they put up there, so it's definitely worth the look. I want to take this time now to talk about something that I've been meaning to share my thoughts of for a while now, and that is my thoughts on Wrestlemania 25 a couple weeks back. The reason I want to bring that up is because over at the WWE Review Guys videos, Scott said that he wanted to hear from other people what they thought of Wrestlemania 25, so here are my thoughts. Good show, but when compared to Wrestlemania 24, it doesn't add up. You know, the quality of it kind of sunk. I mean, I'll be fair. There are some good qualities about the show. There was CM Punk winning the Money in the Bank match again. There was Ricky Steamboat, who impressed the hell out of me a lot more than the other legends did. Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker was a damn amazing match. That wasn't a match, that was a masterpiece. There was Rey Mysterio's Joker costume, and that was the only good thing about that joke of a match. And of course, then we had Edge losing the world title again, and that's always a plus. But those are about the only good things about the show. Everything else, downhill. Let's start with the first mistake they made that night, taking the Unified Tag Team title match off of the main card after weeks of build-up on TV. I mean, where's the logic in that? I mean, you build up a high-profile match, one that involves championships, and then you take it off the card just for what? For Kid Rock to perform a 10-minute medley that was a lead-in to a disaster of a Divas Battle Royale? Yeah, good booking. I'm not saying, of course, that Kid Rock is that bad of a musician. I mean, I enjoy some of his music, but it felt out of place for WrestleMania 25. And don't get me started on the Divas Battle Royale. That was really something that I was hoping the WWE would take seriously, but no, they just had to include Santana Marella and ruin the whole thing, didn't they? When they potentially could have done something big with, like, I don't know, maybe one of the Divas champions, or maybe Gail Kim, who was making her return from TNA, something, anyone, I don't care. They just really made a joke out of the women's division once again, and I'm seriously starting to think that to them it's about as a dead art as tag team wrestling is to them. The Chris Jericho versus Legends handicap match didn't exactly help my mood either. I mean, true, Ricky Steamboat, like I said, impressed the hell out of me. Like, I had no idea he still had it in him. But unfortunately, Chris Jericho got his big win, which I felt was totally unnecessary. And then he hams it up with Mickey Rourke, who took, like, what, 5 minutes trying to get into that ring just so that he could deliver some fake punch to knock him out. I mean, that was really all for nothing, and it was a waste of Chris Jericho, in my opinion. I mean, if they really wanted to have a good match at WrestleMania, they should have just booked it the way they did at Backlash a few nights ago with just him against Steamboat. That's how it should have been booked. Matt Hardy versus Jeff Hardy was an okay match. It wasn't the hardest of hardcore matches that I had ever seen, but it was still pretty fine. I mean, there was a lot more they could have done, but they just kept it for what it was. Matt Hardy's win, it was okay. I mean, in my opinion, it didn't exactly mirror the victory that Owen Hart got over Brett at WrestleMania 10, but it was still something. Especially that finish. I mean, ouch. A twist of fate with a chair around the neck. I'm surprised Jeff was still breathing after that move. The Intercontinental title match was nothing to write home about. I mean, besides Rey Mysterio's Joker costume, it was a bit of a disappointment because this was like the first time since WrestleMania 18 that the Intercontinental title was even defended, and the first time it gets defended in like a few years, it gets the same treatment that the ECW title got at WrestleMania 24 last year, and I thought that was rather sad. I mean, it was cool to see Rey Mysterio as IC champion, but they really could have done a lot more with the match. And it was all just a big setup for JBL to quit anyway. I mean, not necessarily saying that's a bad thing, you know. I'm glad to see JBL gone. He kind of annoyed the hell out of me. But that's not to say that he didn't leave us with some very amusing memories, so to speak. Like this one.
Hey boys, check this out! Oh, fuck me!
I already spoke my mind about The Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels match, you know. 5-star match, match of the year candidate. And quite frankly, I think it was probably the best match that both Shawn and Taker had in both of their careers at WrestleMania. So, and I think I agree with everyone when they say that that match should have been the main event of the night. But then again, they said the same thing about the Ric Flair Shawn Michaels match last year, so. The triple threat match for the World Heavyweight title wasn't much to look at either. John Cena's entrance was interesting, but how many shirts and pants and caps and sneakers did that cost? And the only real thing I got out of the match was the fact that Edge lost the world title, and it brought a world title back to Raw because SmackDown was hogging both of them, or at least they were at the time until the draft took place. And I wasn't necessarily, you know, up on the fact that it was John Cena bringing the world title back to Raw, but what can you do? John Cena is their golden boy, so to speak. And as for the main event, the WWE title match between Triple H and Orton, wow, that was, I hate to say it, but that was kind of boring. And the build-up was great, you know, but the match itself just kind of fell flat. And really, the match was more or less another day in the office of Triple H and the WWE to put him over as the biggest thing that they've ever had since, I don't know, anyone. It just really kind of served whatever purpose it had of giving Orton his punishment for all that abuse he was giving the McMahon family, but other than that, that was just weak. So, yeah, WrestleMania 25 was decent. I mean, it was a good show, but not great. I mean, WrestleMania 24 was better in terms of execution and whatnot. And I'm totally not saying that because I was at WrestleMania 24 live in Orlando last year. I mean, I'm shooting straight here. WrestleMania 25 was not their best effort. I mean, it was a lot better than Backlash a couple of days back, but still, they really could have done a lot better with the show. But once again, they failed to outdo themselves at times like this. Alright, I've wasted enough of your time talking about wrestling and I'm running out of room, so the only other bit of news I wanted to share is that I'll be attending a-kon in Dallas, Texas next month. And hopefully that should be a lot of fun. You know, Sai's going to be there, so is Prismaya, and potentially, it's not confirmed, but Mars Girl from the Nostalgia Critics website might be there. And hopefully we'll get to meet her there, too. So yeah, that's about all I got to say. Oh, and stay tuned, I'm doing a special project for Fireball 20XL in the coming months. As soon as the semester's finished, I'll get right to it. Until then, take care of yourselves. Hopefully I'll do this again sooner or later, and peace out, everyone.